You can try to win a lot or you can try to play well, but you may not be able to do both. 勝つ人がチーするよね。で、
いや、これはさ、いや。
It's the Mahjong Chen YouTube channel.
Welcome to Prost, where we are roasting Mahjong pros. Are we roasting our fans? Is our guest roasting us? Come along with Jen and me as we discover and rediscover how much we still have to learn about this game.
Each episode, we feature one awesome streamer from the English community who's playing on either Tenho or Ron. This time, we have some American Reach Mahjong League games from the A1 League, the highest league out there. The streamer is Light Pink Yoshi, who I know has a lot of fans, and also a lot of, I would say, kind of apprentices. He also teaches a lot of Mahjong in Discord and other places. And also my sparring partner for A Rule Games.
そうなんだ。
あまり
すげえ。
日本で友達いないから、じゃあ一緒にルール練習してって一緒に練習してくれてます。
すごい。
So make sure you give Light Pink Yoshi a follow. And we will be analyzing his hands with a special guest pro.
Our special guest, Sho-chan, returns to the show this week. But let's talk him up again. He's won 2 consecutive Masters titles along with a slew of Mondo and Tenku Mahjong competitions. He stars on the M League team with Shibuya Abemas, where they won the whole thing in 2023. And he's currently crushing it in A1. And depending on the time between filming and when this show appears, he may have already taken the title away from Sasaki Hisato by that time.
Like
Welcome
a year
back
from now, but
yeah.
Also totally accurate.
Yeah.
According to my editing slowness.
Yeah, no, it's anticipation. You got to increase the anticipation. Welcome back to the show, Sho Hiratori. Sho Shiratori. Sorry.
ようこそありがとうございます。
もう。
So we have A1 leaguer analyzing an A1 leaguer. This is
Yes.
awesome. I would
A1
love to have an A1 league battle between JPML A1 leaguers and ARMO A1 leaguers.
負けられないね。そうだったら。
多分すごく盛り上がると思うけど、海外では。Okay. So let's get into our next hand. Today, our theme is going to be commit or not, and pushing and folding.
極めていくか、極めて降りるか。
It's more about committing to Yaku instead of like hedging more options.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in the last hand of the game. South player in first place, but also in a very dangerous position to maybe be taken over by the second or third place players. So this is a really tricky situation, and this ends up being a really tricky hand for it. Okay, so what are you thinking when you get this and you're in this situation?
いや、なんか一番手ではなさそうだなっていう感じ。なんかもうこれとりあえず早く上がってトップ取りたいっていうような状況だと思うけど、なんか上がるの難しそうだなって思うから、この手見たら難はドラなんだけど、逆牌の難か初重なって、泣いていくのが一番早いかなみたいな感じに思うけど。
One point, in these rules, is there Agari Yame or
No. No, this is a league. It is WRC rules, but it's a league, and it's pretty similar to like our WRC league. So let's see what Yoshi decides. But he starts out with the guest wind. So following the advice. And then we get to here. So before we said we wanted the honors we would like to get like a value tile. But with this 4, now we have a Nakabukure shape, which is probably the best shape that we have. But do we start with this, or we have a lot of Suji over here also?
いやでもやっぱり初が1枚切れになっちゃったんで、1枚重なってもあと1枚しかないわけじゃん。その役配重なり期待するのと、今このもう1枚切れちゃってる状態は結構違うから、 発がまあ一番ストレートかなって感じがする。まっすぐだねっていう。
So we like to ask things that we think other people might wonder about.
う
Especially
わ
it's getting to be a difficult shape to work with. Okay, well now we have like a 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku kind of shape, but then we're not gonna have any pairs left, and
うんうんうん。
so what are you thinking?
まあとりあえずパーマン切るんじゃない？
Just see where it
多
goes.
分。うん。
I mean, actually, so it's true. You have 6 tiles to the 1, 2, 3, but you actually still have 5 tiles to the 3, 4, 5. I don't know if you have to commit to a specific Sanshoku yet, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It really depends. It still depends on what your draws are, right?
うん
There goes none. So much for the easy Yakuhai.
But that's Dora, that makes it really easy to cut, so that's good.
That's true. Yeah. Got a safe
Mhm.
tile.
So you're keeping Non as a safe tile then. Yeah. Also, I guess with these two people discarding the two people that might overtake you, discarding the south early. Are we ready to push here? Like what? It's such a tricky situation.
No kidding.
いやー、これ、なんか泣いても速くなってないと思うから、例えば、なんだろう、さっきジェンが言ったように、1日産の3色狙うとかで、例えばじゃあ、上茶からリャンピンが出ましたってなって、リャンピンチーして、例えばイーソーとか切るのかな、そしたら、なんか切って、3色狙うより、面前でやった方がもうこの手早いくなってるなと思うから、泣かないね、これは。
まだ。
泣かない。例えば、これ E ピン残して何切ってるけど、次、例えばリャンピンとか引いて、リャンピンとか引いたら、例えば次、イーソーとか切る。なんかそしたら、カンリャンソーチーして、ウーマン打つと、ペン3マンと、あとソードの445が残って、なんか泣けるいいシャンテンになってるわけじゃん。そうなったら、リャンピン入った後にイーソー切って、その形だったらカンリャンソーとか多分チーするんだけど、それはなんか明確に速くなってるなと思うけど、これはね、速くなってないから、この段階では泣かないね。
It just makes me antsy, this hand.
グズグズする。
Like big chance, but then you don't want to screw it up.
I mean, you don't really care about points here, right? It's more
Right.
just how do you win the hand, but I'm just like so afraid the other players are gonna come at me.
E-Peen would be an annoying draw right here.
No fears about E-Ping coming. That's good news. I think I might cut some of this out. Okay, whoa, what do we do?
Ugh.
It's just like, yeah, it's just, ugh.
This is basically the same thing as E-Peen, actually. You've already got the other four bamboos out there, so they're just as useless. Ugh.
まあでもいいシャンテンに取るいいピンが普通だと思うけど、例えばイーソー引いてテンパイすることもあるわけだし、数層はないけど、
そう。
とりあえずいいピン切っとくんじゃないかなと思うけど、もしなんかいいピン切らない理由があるとするなら、いいピン切っちゃうと上茶の親に安全牌がなくなっちゃうから、いいピン残したいっていうのと、あとはまあちょっとだけ3色もあるかなみたいな。なんかそんなそもそもダイレクトにイーソー引いてテンパイすることもそんなないでしょうっていうことで、いいピン残すっていう手もまあもちろんあると思うけど、普通はやっぱりいいピンだよね。なんかいいピン以外だったらおすすめは数層とかになるのかな。
What did you do, Garth?
I was probably going to cut Susol for bamboos. Still, like, I feel like it doesn't really change my hand that much, and I'm only losing to 2/1 bamboos.
I just feel like if you discard the 4 bam or the 1 dot, you're just completely like zero chance at I mean, Sanshoku is really far away, but the only really Yaku I see right now.
Like you're really just hoping to go. I guess if you do draw someone, so you're Tenpai only waiting for Tori, then all right, you can still wait for basically most lower Sozu to improve your weight, like 2, 3, 5, 6, all improve your weight. Even a 7, I suppose, you could reach on the Kanchan, since it's for the game. I guess I could see that, but I still feel like I want to keep the Sanshoku possibility open.
I just think that if you discard the 4-bim, how are you gonna get Sanshoku? You're gonna be stuck without a pair again. I guess the 3 die is your pair?
Yeah, the 3 doubles pair. Yeah.
You need another 3/6 bam for that?
You need another 3/6. Right.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, he's thinking Uwan.
thinking. And
Ayo!
Uwan.
おお。あ、へえ。あ、でもなんかこれって多分この方はやっぱ3色結構強く見てるってことだよね。うん。だからこれだとなんか多分リャンソーもチーするしリャンピンもチーするみたいな感じだと思うけど、多分この方はリャンピンがすごいいいと思ってるよね、待ちとして。トイメンもカミちゃんもいいピン早いからリャンピンあんまり持ってなさそうだし、下ちゃんもリャンピン切ってるし、あと自分が3枚使ってるからリャンピン使いづらいからリャンピン泣けそうだなとかも考えてそうだなと思うけど、なんかウーマンはウーマンでありだと思うね。まあ、これはなんか泣くシフトにしてるよね、割と。
Yeah, I think it's a lot more common. Like we learned mostly Menzen when we were like training, but it's a lot of the players overseas really like to call tiles a lot more.
へえ、なるほどなるほど。いやでも泣くのってやっぱ難しいし技術いるからさ、これ上がったらかっこいいけどな。
あ
あ、やっぱり3、やっぱり3、4、5、Sanshoku。
いや、これでも多分この方つもぎるんじゃないの？
多分、
そうだよね。
The 2 is just too good, is what he would say.
あ、数層。
なんか、リャンピンがいいっていうのがその分かってるのがめちゃくちゃいいことですよね。リャンピンが泣けそうとかリャンピン持ってきそうっていうのが感覚にあるっていうのがめちゃくちゃいいことだと思うけど。
And now that you did that, you have to cheat, right? But then what are you gonna... You have to discard some dangerous things.
いや、降りたいと思えば全然降りるのありだと思うけどな。なんかチーしても安全牌には困らないと思うのね、リーチ者の。チーしてイーソーも安全だしスーソーも安全だし、あとまあ E マンは全員に通る牌持ててるし、チーでもいいかなと思うけど、ただまだちょっと気が早いかもしれないけど、チーすることの、デメリットは今下茶がシャーチャじゃない。
はい。
で下茶のツモ番が1回増えちゃうってことなんだよね。最後まで行った時に下茶が配定になって下茶にツモ番が1回増えちゃうから、その分積もられてまくられちゃうっていう可能性がちょっと増えるよね。だから絶対チーとも全然言えないかなって感じで。で上がれるか上がれないかって言ったらそんな上がれないからね。言いそうな後ウーソーも勝負しなきゃいけないから。
Yeah, I was thinking about that 5 bam.
そうしかもそんなにこれもうめちゃくちゃ都合よくいかないと上がれないからね。なんかチーしないがなんか無難というかいい気がするけどな。
I was just gonna say, I just realized like the thing that I'm forgetting in this situation is that, yeah, you're not, just because he's reached doesn't mean he's necessarily going to win the hand. It could end with him. He's the only one Tenpai. He's more than 4,000 points away. You still win the game. I always tend to try to win games by winning the hand, and I always miss these situations where you can still win the game by losing the hand.
Yeah, that's important to remember.
いやでも結構ね、この状況って、そうだよね。これもう上茶の親ってほぼ降りることないと思うの。だって、天敗脳天でも、流局しても、そのシャーチャにまくられちゃうじゃん。だし、シャーチに上がられてもまくられちゃうし、天敗脳天でもまくられちゃうから、結構上茶の親って、割ともう行かないといけない状況だから、今こうやって安全牌しか切ってなかったけど、今のところね、リャンピンとか、パーマン、イーマン、リャンピンみたいなのって結構安全な牌切ってるけど、やっぱこういう風に来るよねっていう感じはするよね。
危ない。
So does that mean it's better for us to think more about folding?
いや、めっちゃむずいけどね、これ。めっちゃむずいけど、でも、これドラが何で、赤も入ってないルールで、やっぱ下茶が何切ってるわけじゃない。下茶との点差、リーチ打つ前、下茶との点差は3800点差だったわけじゃん。で例えば、上茶が攻めていって、下茶に例えばじゃあ26とか補充しても、自分がトップのまま終われるとかいうのもあるから、なんかそういうのでちょっと守備的に構えちゃいそうかなって俺は思ったけど、あとなんかこれチーすると2人に通る牌がイーマンだけじゃない、でチーで晒した牌のイーピンっていうのがかなり結構安全じゃん。上茶には安全で、下茶にもワンチャンスっていう、やっぱこの牌持ててるっていうのがちょっと大きいのかなって思ったけど、でも冷静に考えたらイーマンと多分その次打つのって数層が4枚見えてるから3層打つことできるんだよね。3層が割と安全。難しいけどチーしてもいいような気がしてきた。急にどっちもありだなって感じはするけどな。
Wow, Yoshi's teaching Shiratori.
でもこれはチーできないんじゃない？
You have to discard the 5. You're Tenpai. You have a Yaku, but you have to discard the 5.
これはこれチーしてこれは俺はできないけど。
I can't either.
But I feel like this is what you were talking about before. Like, this is a person who cheese here is the kind of person who wins. The good player is the person who gives up. Like, there's that sort of dichotomy. Like, you can try to win a lot, or you can try to play well, but you may not be able to do both. 勝つ人がチーするよね。で、
これはさ、さっきのはさっきとやっぱちょっと状況も違うじゃん。だってこれウーソーって2人にまず通ってない。
そう、完全に通ってないよね。かなり危ないよ。
そう。一応ね、数層自分で4枚使ってるから、ウーソーが当たるとしても、うっぱそう。
ワン壁。
そう、ワン壁。だから、なんか、普通の無筋よりは通しやすいとは思うけど、でもじゃあ、これ、ウーソー通した後に、この3人の今、テンパイしてる状況で、リャンソーで上がらなきゃいけなくて、多分次にもう1個剣杯引いたら、もう無理じゃない？割と。きついと思っちゃうから。それでも攻める手は当然あるけどね。やっぱドラが何見えてるから、親に打っても安いだろうとか、もう1曲あるだろうっていうので。
What about cheating for K10 here?
What? Oh, and then throw 20?
Yeah.
But you don't even know if that's safe for sure, actually. I mean, it's kind of just as dangerous to the Oya as...
チーして、
イーソーとか。
いや、イーソーは切らないね。だってイーソーって親にそもそも通ってないわけじゃん。だからチーして切るならウーソーだと思う。それか、チーしないんだったら降りる選択でイーマンと、3層とか切って降りていくことになると思うけど。
Okay. Yeah, I think I think like some people like I came this far. If they're both Tenpai and I'm not, then that puts me in a worse position. So there could be people thinking about K10 here with the Genbutsu to the right player. But what does he do? He's thinking, what do I do? Counting the tiles and does not.
Yeah.
Wow.
冷静です。これは。
Oh, down
Ah,
so.
he gets
Ouch.
all the backfires.
Ah, Kyuso. Kyuso 取ってたのに。
Okay. And we end with 二人転敗。
Q1.
もう
普通。
It's a
まあなんか
punchy beam, yeah.
堅実だなって感じですね。硬い
Okay.
硬い。
I mean, yeah.
But he still has a chance to win. Yeah. He preserved his chance to win.
I have a question from Yoshi-san. まあ、実はね、ヨシさんが、ね、プロスト出てくれるんだったら、プロは誰がいいですかって聞いて、もう翔ちゃんがいいってまっすぐ言ったので。
ありがとうございます。Thank you.
だから本人から、質問
はいはいはいはい
があるんですけど、so the question is, how much, if at all, do you try to read like what is in your opponent's hands as far as sequences and pairs and to determine how many of the tiles that you need are left in the wall. So not just reading what's discarded on the board, but trying to read what is in the other people's hands to try and count how many tiles are left.
いやー、結構それって人によると思うんですけど、なんか僕は結構考えるタイプかなっていう。なんかどれくらいって言われると難しいけど、なんかその相手の手から出てきたとか、そのつもぎったかとか、まあ、そういうのでめちゃくちゃ想像しちゃうタイプですね、僕は。めっちゃ考えちゃう。だからさっきプレイしてた時にリャンピンがやっぱ良さそうだから3色になりそうだからいいピン残してたみたいな感じで、なんかそういうのはめちゃくちゃ考えるかなって感じですね。
So I mean, he said that he's tried to do it sometimes, but it's a lot of information to overload. It's a lot to think about. So is there any like tips to kind of get better at that?
このリーグ戦って全部これネットマージャンでやってるってことですよね。
そうですね、はい。
だからそれ打った後に多分配布って見返せるじゃないですか。相手の手配とかって全部見返せると思うから、なんかもう一回例えば一番最初から、ゆっくり最初見てって、で相手の手想像しながら見てって、で手開けて、でやっぱ相手の手こうなってたんだみたいなのの結構俺は繰り返しをしてることが多いけど。
So when you're actually looking when you're doing the review, you don't open the hands right away. You keep them closed so you can kind of practice imagining and then open to see if you're right.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think like the default is to have all the hands open when you look at the paifus, so that's what people tend to do, but that's a great idea. Okay, well that's our show for today. Thank you so much. Great information. Actually, a little bit more information than I even expected for this hand. I had like a bunch of other hands lined up. But our special pros only have so much time, so.
Yes. Be sure to check us and him out on all the neato ways to check us out. I'm Garthi on Twitter with 3 E's. Jen is Mahjong Jen, and Shochan is S_Shochan0827. I'm guessing that's his birthday if you want to send him a present. Jen is also active on her Twitch channel, unlike me on mine. And of course, Shochan's YouTube channel is appropriately named Shochanneru. I mean, everybody can put Chan at the end of their name and make that joke, but Chan is really practically in his name, so he wins on that one.
Well, you should like and subscribe this channel, the Mahjong Jen YouTube channel as well.
Lots of content on this channel. And that's it for today's show. Thanks to Shochan for joining us today. And thanks to you for watching us. And be sure to join us, Jen and me, on the next episode of Pro Asked Prost on our journey to get enough advice to someday finally play like a pro.
Thank you! ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Game over.